Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your man Pristine back with another video. Now, somebody asked me a question the other day, and it was a rather interesting question. And I was like, you know what? Thanks for the idea, because now I got to make a video about it. All right? You like to hear it? Here it go. Question was posed. Is the iPhone 8, which is what this is before you ladies and gentlemen, is it worth getting here in 2018? And I thought that was a rather interesting question because obviously the individual who asked me this question is completely unaware of the fact that iPhone X has reportedly stopped production or cut production by 50%. And so I've heard due to sources, and is actually due to completely stop selling the iPhone X, all because of not meeting the sales that they thought that they were going to meet. Why? All because of this guy right here, the iPhone 8. Over the holiday season, ladies and gentlemen, since the launch of the iPhone 8 here and the 8 Plus, and then the iPhone X to follow a couple of months later, the iPhone 8 here just completely destroyed and obliterated sales. Blew the iPhone X out of the water. Now, I think Apple is to blame for this travesty, if you will, according to Apple. I don't quite see it as a surprise. But here's the thing. Those of you who know, a lot of you, avid Apple fanboys and fangirls, or even if you're not a fanboy or fangirl, but you just like their products, you guys know how they roll. Typically when they release a device, they the stunts that they pull, everybody, the pre-orders, they sell out within 2 or 3 minutes. There's long lines outside the stores. Typically, the people who pre-order the device are usually the ones that get it day one. And then all the other little stragglers who come in looking for one, or a lot of stragglers who, weren't able to, pre-order theirs because they didn't get to their computers or tablets or cell phone sites, Apple sites on time to pre-order that device. They gotta wait, a month and a half, 2 months. All the phones on back order. We don't know when we're gonna get it. Now, I think that Apple purposefully does this to build anticipation. I think that they mass produce these phones and they have them sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and they allow themselves a certain amount of time that they're gonna allow the anticipation to grow. And then they're just like, okay, now that everybody's freaking out, people really feel as though they can't get this device, because we didn't make it available to them, even though we got a stash over here, and here at all these different warehouse locations. Now the anticipation's grown through the roof. Now we're just going to put it out. We're going to flood these stores with it and just watch everybody come running in. Now, that's just my theory. That's my idea. That may not be true, but I think that that's what Apple's doing. Now, let's just say if that is the case. People wanted the X. They couldn't get the X. So what was the next option? You had the 8 here, or you had the 8 Plus. Now, big phones nowadays in 2018 is the thing. But there's still a lot of people, lots of people who don't like big phones. They think that they're rather cumbersome to handle. Some feel like they're too much to handle. They're too big. They're too heavy. A lot of people like to travel lightly. And so they gravitated more towards the 8 here. Why? Because it was available. Why else? Well, if you look at the spec sheet, are the difference really all that dramatic or drastic from this to the X? I mean, this is a 4.7-inch display, which a lot of people may say is the sweet spot. That depends on who you ask. It's got the A11 Bionic chip, what Apple is claiming to be the most powerful chip in any smartphone. You still got that beautiful beautiful True Tone crystal clear display, right? 3 gigs of RAM on board. You get that beautiful Apple camera, which definitely is one of the top cameras. Now not quite up there with the Pixel 2, but not too far beneath it. Now, the only difference between the camera on this device and the 8 Plus and the X is with this device here, with the 8, you don't have the ability to take pictures in portrait mode because there is no dual camera. You only have just that 112 megapixel shooter, which is damn good. It's a very good, capable camera. On the front here, you still have that 7 megapixel FaceTime camera, but you don't get portrait mode on the front or the back. Now, a lot of people, they don't care about that. A lot of people aren't, photo enthusiasts to where they feel as though they need a dual camera and they need to have portrait mode to be able to blur out the background. A lot of people just want a nice, clean photograph to take. A lot of people ain't even tripping over portrait mode. A lot of people don't even know what portrait mode is. So you can't say that would be a difference, because if that were the case, then I'm sure they'd be selling a lot more 8 Pluses and a lot more X's. Well, now that the X's are available, but now that they are available, they're still not meeting the demand as far as the amount of those that they thought they were going to sell. So, I was like, well, I'm more into big phones and I like the bezel-less displays and all that sort of thing. I just recently sold my X. I did it reluctantly because I'd already told someone that I would do it after not using my X for about a month. And then I popped my SIM card in it and started using it. And I, rediscovered what I loved about it. But no big deal. I just went and caught myself an 8. I don't have an iPad or anything anymore. And so I just wanted to have something Apple. And it's like after, having the X experience, I just wanted to keep an iPhone handy, because I believe it or not, I like both operating systems. I mean, am I more so a fan of Android? Yes. But I never once said that I don't like Apple. I like Apple. I just don't like the fact that they keep you locked into their own ecosystem and you can't really change much, besides the wallpapers and stuff like that. But I mean, with Android, you can just completely change and customize everything, icon packs, different launchers, all that. Now, if Apple gave you those capabilities, then man, I can see a lot of people not even wanting to touch Android. But a lot of people, they gravitate to Android because they get bored with what Apple offers and the fact that they just keep people locked in. They don't give people freedom to do what they want, right? So, my personal opinion, do I think that the iPhone 8 is still worth purchasing in 2018? Also, ladies and gents, keep in mind that later on this year, supposedly by the summer, from what sources are saying, they're supposed to be completely shutting down production of the iPhone X. But then we're supposed to be getting 3 more models, 3 more iPhones coming this year, and they're all supposed to have a similar cosmetic design as the X. Now, what sense does that make? Why discontinue the X, but then you've got plans to put out more phones, 3 more phones this year, according to sources, that look just like the X. Now, my understanding is that one of these devices is going to be the X Plus, which is going to be a 6.3 or 6.4 inch display. Now, imagine that. The iPhone X is 5.8 inches. Imagine a 6.4 inch one. An iPhone X that's as big as the Note 8. Wow. Right? And then they're supposed to be coming out with supposedly a more budget-friendly iPhone that still is supposed to be a notch above the iPhone 8 Plus and the 8 here, but it's supposed to cost less. Kind of scratched my head on that one because they're saying that that's still supposed to be around like $799 to $850 or something like that. We're still close to 1,000. To me, my idea of more budget friendly is, $350, $400, maybe, mid-range pricing, $850. Really, Apple? You're calling that more budget friendly? We'll see what happens later on in the year, y'all. But to me personally, the iPhone 8 here is very, very, I think it would be a really good purchase here still in 2018. All right. Got the device here. As I mentioned, you've got that beautiful True Tone display. You've got the A11 Bionic chip, 3 gigs of RAM. You know, a lot of people, they slam the fact that the iPhone X doesn't have a fingerprint sensor. I mean, so, you know, you got the fingerprint sensor here, you know, for all of you people that are still used to that and have had a hard time transitioning from the fingerprint to the X, or, you know, if that's something that you're still thinking about doing, I hope that this video can help you out. You know, it's all about what you want. You know, I mean, all the internals and everything are the same between this, the 8 Plus, and the X. The only difference with the X is, you know, you've got that bezel-less, beautiful display. Now, I have to say that design is definitely one of the most beautifulest phones that was released in 2017. And I know that beautifulest ain't a word, but I just made it a word. You know, or, you know, shout out to Keith Murray, man, back in the day. The most beautifulest thing in this world is just like that. Man, some of you young bucks may not know nothing about that, man. But yeah, Keith Murray, man, beautifulest. Yeah, that iPhone X is one of the most beautifulest phones that was released in 2017. I have to give it that. But I mean, as far as the internals, you got all that right here in the iPhone 8. Okay, you just got a little bit of a smaller display. You know, a lot of people, they're having a hard time with Face ID. You know, Face ID is kind of spotty. You know, sometimes it's consistent, other times it's not. Some people have difficulty with it and they're frustrated because they still have to enter in a PIN code or a password or whatever they set up as a secondary line of security to unlock their device. And so a lot of people are unhappy with the inconsistency of the Face ID. Well, you don't have that problem here with the fingerprint sensor. This fingerprint sensor works 100% of the time, all of the time. Okay, you still got that really good camera system. You still got the dual speakers. You've got a speaker here in the receiver and another bottom firing speaker, and they sound amazing. Amazing. You know, this phone is beautifully crafted. You know, it's glass. This is the space gray. And so it is now IP68 water and dust resistant. It is wireless charge. Qi enabled. I mean, so you can lay this down on a wireless charger and charge your device. You know, Apple, it's funny, they're always late to the party. They're always the last ones to implement a lot of these technologies that we see first in a lot of other Android devices. But you know what? Even though it takes them a while to come around, here's the fact of the matter is, here's what the fact of the matter is. Apple now has 3 devices that are on par with just about everything else that's out there on the market. You know, you want a beautiful display? It has it. You want beautiful cameras? It has it. You want small, medium, or large? It has those sizes at different price points. You know, you want dual speakers, dual stereo speakers that sound amazing? It has it. You want a blazing fast processor? It has it. This little phone here it could do it all. I'm really enjoying this device. Now, typically, I'm not really a fan of smaller devices. You know, it's got the bezels, the big chin, the big chin and the forehead at the top. You know, I mean, I've been turned out completely by this 18:9 aspect ratio. But you know what? I'm really enjoying this little iPhone. So, if you were to pose the question, is the iPhone 8 worth purchasing in 2018? If it's based off of my opinion, I'd have to say yes, because this phone checks just about everything that anybody could want in a smartphone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the iPhone 8. Just my thoughts and impressions on it. Stay tuned for the full pristine review. If you like this video, you already know, smash that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons more videos that I've done like this one. And stay tuned because I've got tons more videos to come like this one. All right, I plan on having the most latest and the dopest tech, mobile tech on the channel here. So make sure that you're tuned in and hit that notification bell so that whenever I upload something, you'll be one of the first to be able to peep it out and let me know what you think. All right, if I missed anything, if I didn't cover anything, and you guys have any more thoughts on whether or not you feel that this phone is a worthy purchase here in 2018, let me know in the comments, man. Let's talk about it. I'm always open for discussion. All right. All right. Till the next video, y'all, you guys already know. Keep it safe. Definitely get spiritually fit. man, we're definitely living in the last days, man. And, you know, a relationship with Christ is one of the best. It is the best relationship that you could ever have. The best relationship you could ever have. Get spiritually fit, please, because we're definitely living in the last days, people. I can't stress that enough. And keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives, man. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.